everybody. Welcome back to our range marketing fireside chats. It's been a while since we've last had a great discussion with one of our rockstar clients. Today is one of those opportunities for us to get you caught up with a new market that we've entered into in the Washington State market. And I'm really pleased to be joined today by Kelani Mirau. She is the owner of American Harvest and one of our newer clients in, as I mentioned, Washington State. We're really excited to have her on. Kelani, first and foremost, thank you so much for joining me today on our range marketing fireside chats. We're extremely excited to have you, not as only as our customer here for the long term, but having you along to speak a little bit about your business, some of the things you're experiencing in your market, and kind of how pairing with range marketing and some of our other technology partners has hopefully started to successfully move the business forward. But first and foremost, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having me.
No, it's my pleasure. So, Kelani, where I kind of want to start with you today on this discussion and in this portion in this episode of our podcast is first and foremost talk about our mutual experience, because I myself am not your sales rep. One of our wonderful young guys, Tyler Shaw, has worked with you to sort of cultivate the business, get it to a place where you guys felt comfortable moving forward with range, building your new website and doing your ongoing SEO campaign. So I want to get through some of that. But overall, I think the first part I wanted to kind of talk to you about and have a candid conversation about is your overall experience, because I'm sure being a business owner, you've had more than one opportunity to build your website, you've had more than one experience, and I'm generally for our listeners interested to kind of see where you believe this experience may stack up to some of your other previous ones.
Well, my previous experience with the website was just building it completely by myself. I did the SEO by myself as well. But when I was able to find out about range marketing, I definitely jumped on it because it just seemed like a great fit. Right from the get-go, Tyler was very helpful. I got to ask what I really wanted to get from my website. And from the get-go, they were phenomenal with just seeing and creating exactly what I needed to reach my market, be able to display the website, all the products, all the different avenues that I needed, and they efficiently did that. And I was still impressed with just seeing how the website is growing, and being able to have the executive reports just to see the growth of the SEO is phenomenal. But range marketing was phenomenal. I had a great experience with it.
Not every customer necessarily wants their digital marketing partner to kind of come in and start taking the jobs of multiple people that they kind of have in house. And I'm wondering, from that experience perspective, it sounds like for you wanted to sort of pawn off some of these responsibilities on a third party company like Range that can come in and provide that expertise while giving you more time, energy, power to really focus on the things that you simply didn't have time to move your business forward. So far, since we've been able to take over that website, what have you had more time to do as a business owner from a strategy perspective, from implementing new strategies and knowing, and we'll get into this shortly, some of the restrictions that you obviously have in your market and in the state that you do business. But, overall, what have you noticed about your time allocation since kind of giving a lot of this mundane stuff over to range marketing?
Oh, it's been phenomenal. Basically, it's like a machine. Before I was having to do all these different compartmentalizing, like the social media, the newsletters, the posting, the SEO, but with range marketing and with the website, they've incorporated all of that into the website, which has been great. But the newsletter has been embedded into the website. My social media, whenever I post just one thing, it posts to all these different areas, which has been phenomenal because that reaches all of my customers, perfectly. And it definitely takes a lot of, like you were saying, a lot of time off of my hands, which is great, but it's definitely like a little machine, and it's reaching all my customers effectively, all my different target markets. It's definitely focusing on those areas, which I couldn't have done myself. So there's only a little bit that I know how to do, but range marketing was able to kind of break that cap and go to another level that I've not been able to get to. So it's been really, really effective and really phenomenal for my business.
So this is kind of the interesting part of our conversation today, because obviously looking at the process, how it played out for you early on, and to now where I think you're getting better opportunities to understand your competitors more, which I think is really sort of the step and some of the convenience that, Range, myself, our company have really wanted to provide our clients is more opportunity to see what's working from your competitors and in some ways emulate, but other cases do better than maybe the strategies that they're putting out there, but maybe that you hadn't necessarily thought of. So give me a little bit of a understanding of your market at a glance for folks that maybe in the California market or some of these emerging East Coast markets. I know being a company that's based in Buffalo, New York, we had the exciting news this past November where we did pass recreational cannabis and legalization of that in the state, which we're really, really excited about. But I think this is a good opportunity maybe for folks that are here listening locally. What would be a word of advice as a business owner to those people maybe in New York State now that are considering those licenses or are in a position where, they just need to sort of wait for that bureaucratic red tape to get clipped and then they're kind of, set out into the business world? What kind of advice do you have, knowing the market restrictions you have and kind of, and give an idea of maybe what a business owner can expect, especially when they're maybe opening this business and this venture for the first time?
Yes, definitely. With it still being federally illegal, a lot of different avenues that normally would be available to the businesses are not available to cannabis businesses. So what I found that I had to do was go underground with my advertising. So social media, anything that focused around your phone, because everyone seems to have cell phones and little computers. So reaching my market through the cell phones has been phenomenal. And that's where I feel like Range Market has really helped me integrate a lot of people who seem to come into that, my area. It seems to capture them, or if they're searching for me, it comes right up onto the the website first and foremost. But definitely reaching out through social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, that seems to be a phenomenal source. Also, Leafly and Weed Maps have been great because they've been established through the medical for years, and so they have a huge following.
Sure.
And they seem to have a lot of the demographics that I'm seeming to try to capture. So instead of starting at the ground level and sourcing to all these different platforms, but continuously being able to post on these platforms have been a phenomenal source with, reaching out with different sales, product availability, all of that different stuff is great advertisement, and definitely something that the federal, can't stop you from advertising. So, but right now I'm advertising on billboards, which seem to be, the only thing right now that you can really publicize out to the public. But that does seem to be putting a little bit of a cap on it. They're only wanting you to put your name on there and, pot leaves or anything. So being able to communicate what your story is to all of those different impressions is difficult, but you can definitely maneuver, but you have to think outside the box for sure.
Yeah, and I get the sense that based on your personality and understanding a certain extent your business model, when you're the owner of a dispensary and let's say you're a newer owner, how much of, let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, how much of your concern is really trying to cultivate that new business? Whereas I think, if I'm a cannabis customer and I'm shopping with American Harvest, I've got the sense that you have the right people in place and you have the right business model in place, that when somebody comes in, they're going to have a memorable experience. They're going to have a good experience with your bud tenders, and you're going to create a lifelong relationship. And even if that means sometimes they go to another dispensary for a different product line, they're always going to maybe find a way back to American Harvest and to shop with you because of the experience and the people that you have in place. But when you are starting that business, how do you go about trying to maneuver and juggle understanding that you just need to get these people in the door to create that experience for them, and once they're there, they become that lifelong client? But it's the sort of ecosystem that exists out there of, hey, we've got lots of competitors, we all offer similar products, but it's the experience that I really want to create here at American Harvest that will make them the lifelong client. But talk to me a little bit about what you stress about when it is about that lead generation. You mentioned, I think, a really good topic, which is, people that might be coming that are tourists or visiting your city or your town or your market for the very first time. That's the most influential that you can be in those moments, is getting in front of them on the web and digitally. So talk to me just a little bit about, sort of the stress level that creates for you as a business owner wanting to generate those leads, knowing you have put together a process and a product in store that really creates a memorable experience.
Well, a lot of our people that we're focusing on are tourists and then locals, but shooting down that stigma is a huge thing. And I think that's one that differentiates me from a lot of my different competitors, is the fact that I definitely don't want to have like the Rastafari things that people are familiar with, or something that they, come into the store just assuming that this is exactly what they were expecting. I want them to be mind blown, and so the store, when you walk in, is homey. They're automatically, their guards are down, they're willing to talk about stuff. But more importantly, like you were mentioning, before they even step into the door, I want them to get familiar with the product. I want them to be able to learn about what we have available in the store, give them product knowledge. Where are they getting this product from via the vendor? I try to get little video clips so they can walk the farm or be able to see how the product's grown. That will give them a little bit more education and know-how before they walk into the store. But when they do get into the store, one of the things that I love to offer is the fact that we use their first name and we make them feel comfortable. We are able to cater to brand new people who are tourists from different countries, or locals who have been doing this for a while. We can cater to all different markets, but definitely reaching all of our clients in the digital market is definitely a new era and a phenomenal tool. But giving that comfortable atmosphere is something that people aren't used to, is kind of my business model, and it seems to be working really effectively. So
yeah, and I think this is a great point too, because I think a lot about how each state and sort of the stigma that exists. I think a lot of it has to do with the timing of this all, right? And a state like California or Colorado, those are business owners that have a certain luxury that I don't believe you have, or even, potential dispensary owners here in the state of New York will have. Is a lot of their job initially is to educate the client in a way that helps you break down the stigma that maybe people have a negative light or a negative view on the industry as a whole. And I think it's creating that bridge and that introduction to people and creating an inviting environment to help educate them. And that's why I think, what we do translates so well into cannabis. It's not because it drives results, but more so it's sort of the same approach we have to have, because I think a smart, educated client I don't necessarily, if you're doing it the right way, I don't believe an educated client should be viewed as a bad thing or something where they're coming to you and telling you how to do their job or do your job. I think more so a smart, educated client can really, I think can extend the life, sort of the life cycle of that client, right? And if they understand what it is you do, how you do it, and where you do it, I think there's that understanding that you're creating a personal bridge, and you're not just trying to sell them something. You're trying to create a good experience for that person, and you want to make sure that when you're selling them a product, that you're selling them the right product, and that they understand why they're buying that product, right?
Exactly. And as a medical consultant, that's one of the things that I try to teach even my bud tenders. We do like a weekly email to the bud tenders that we give them product knowledge and all the product that's coming in, so they can reiterate that to all of our customers coming in. And exactly like what you said, you brought up a good point, is being able to properly educate all of our customers in how to use the product efficiently, and be able to give them some background image on what they're actually consuming, consumption methods, even laws. We try to give them the whole encompass, because it is such a new emerging market. It's very important for them to know. But a lot of our market now is actually educated. They want to know, is this vegan? Is this gluten-free? Is this, all this stuff, like how is this created? And we want to give them all of that, the visual, the education, and they're walking away with even pamphlets to know, to take home and even, be able to, sit down and be able to take back what they've learned in the store and then come back as a returning customer. But we're always wanting to give them education, as they come in. And so I definitely think that helps with lifelong customers for sure.
Yeah, actually, and one of the things you taught me when I was, when we were in preparation for the podcast, was a little bit about some of the restrictions that you yourself, in terms of overall branding and advertising, really have in the state, including not really being able to have branded material, whether that's merchandise, whether that's swag, or just general things that I think a lot of us might take for granted because, you own a shop, you own a brand. Of course, you're going to have some swag merchandise. Of course, you're going to want to see people wearing your logo on a t-shirt or in some creative way, but you do not have that luxury yet. And hopefully, as your state continues to add layers to cannabis law, that more common sense prevails. And I know that that's not always, I think that's something that if you work in this industry, you don't always assume common sense is there, at least from our experience, and I'm sure even you more than me, that common sense often isn't the prevailing thought. But hey, we'll take what we can get at this point. But tell me about why a website for you, knowing the restrictions you have on your ability to brand yourself and your brand, and why it's different from someone else, why the website became such a no-brainer for you and your company, considering you can spend your money elsewhere. You can use more money on weed maps and get in front of them, but that at the end of the day, you are going up against your direct competitors, and they have a direct link to get to direct competitor sites. What about creating your own ecosystem really appealed to you?
Oh, the website definitely was where I just knew it had to be where I spent the most of my money, because it's just a little snippet that will give my customers an idea of how I differentiate myself from all of my different competitors. And it also helps with just the way that you guys have created the website. Allows people to hang out a little bit longer on the website, be able to view different product. But it's so important because we are only restricted to 2 16 square inch signs, which, off of a highway, we're on an interchange. People are going 60 miles per hour. You can barely see what
right.
we are. And so we really have to focus on the website to be able to appeal to all of our customers, to have them know where we are, how to locate us, what products we have available. So it's incredibly important that the website was, spot on, and range marketing really got that. They got what I was trying to get, from my heart, from my business model. They hit every sort of avenue. But then to add on to it, we were going right through COVID as well. So we really had our hands tied behind our backs. But what was really wonderful was that range marketing was able to offer a different portal for people to order online and come and pick up at the store. So we were able to think outside the box and be able to utilize our website to get our customers, be able to get around this pandemic that we were getting through. And it was a phenomenal success. So I definitely have range marketing to thank for that, to really understand the market, to understand what I needed from my website, to understand my customers. So it was fantastic all the way around.
And I think that's, not necessarily something I had envisioned us talking about in any, extended length, because I think we're all sort of over the COVID conversation. But I am interested, as a business owner, what your beliefs are about the future of consuming cannabis, because I think we all noticed and saw that there was a major uptick in curbside pickup, that people don't necessarily want to step in and sort of be sold. Like, they know what they want, they just want to pay for it online, pull up to your store and have it walked out to their car. And tell me what the potential roadblocks is. We're talking about you wanting to create that experience in store. How do you navigate wanting to create that experience and that educational piece, while knowing that the industry and consumerism itself is sort of moving away from that interpersonal experience and more towards a digital experience? Like, how do you juggle those concepts?
Definitely. With Curbside, it definitely opened up a new market, because like you said, there's a lot of people who, because we're in a conservative alley, a lot of people don't want to be seen coming into the shop, and they're just not ready to do that. So we were able to touch that market a little bit, and we're able to still be able to give that one-on-one personalization at the Curbside, but being able to meet their needs in that way and be able to adapt. And that's super important. Like, as we're going through every single year, there's always curveball, but definitely being able to use the website to curve that and to be able to meet those needs is great. But definitely I've seen that the Curbside has been fantastic, even though I know that we weren't able to spend as much time with the customer, but we're still able to try to give that personalization and that care that we try to do, there at the Curbside at the car. So it seems to work out really well.
So one of the last things, Kelani, that I really wanted to kind of talk to you about it, and maybe this isn't as much of an advice piece for business owners that do what you do, but maybe more of an understanding of what matters to you and why it may matter, similarly to a business owner. But data. I think that, ourselves as a company, we've been trying to move more and more towards being that data hub, providing useful data to help you create for you to make better business decisions on the growth of your company. If one product is selling better online than in store, as a business owner, you want to know which products are selling online so you can promote those products that may not have the same level of popularity or importance of in store. So knowing that you now have two separate shops, what kind of data do you really care about? And the reason I ask this question is, some customers, they just want to use search engine optimization as a way to be seen, right? And they don't necessarily need data. They don't need a particular metric to know that they're being seen. They could just go on Google, am I showing up in my market in the map section or am I not? And I think for you, I'm hoping to maybe better understand, are you more focused on the revenue that's being generated? Are you more focused on just knowing that those eyes are coming to your brand and to your site? Or are you just really more so noticing or caring about the fact that you are found above your local competitors? And I think it can be a complicated and layered answer to this question, but I think overall, I think the essence of what I'm getting at here is, what do you care about as a business owner? Is it the revenue? Is it the traffic? Is it the eyes? Like, what is it that really moves you into a direction that says, this is something that I need for my business model moving forward?
Data and analytic information is so important because I'm definitely a numbers person. I like to see trends. I like to see when my customers are buying, what they're buying, how they're viewing me, where their clicks go. Are they calling? Are they coming in through the store? Are they looking through Instagram or Twitter or through the website? All of that data, I think Range Marketing gives phenomenally. We're able to review all of that data, and it really gives me as a business owner, allocations and how to spend my money. But what that does is also allows me to see how I'm making money and how I'm able to improve on different areas. Definitely products are a huge thing because we really want to make sure we retrofit this product to the customers, and that we're getting the products that our customers are needing or they're interested in. That's really important, is to be able to educate, but also just know exactly the data. I think just everything that Range Marketing is able to give us, they give us a big, huge, wide range of how people are getting to us, but then being able to know individually what products are selling the quickest. So all of that is incredible and really powerful as a business owner to have that, because going blindly and spending your money blindly is not the best way to run a business. And so Range Marketing has given me more control in that way, to be able to see how people are viewing, when they're viewing, how they're viewing, and then also the products that are being sold. So that's all really important to me.
Yeah, and obviously, I think those are all things that really should be important to the business owner. And I think kind of the last thing that I wanted to just quickly ask you about too is being a business owner that relies a lot, and I don't think I'm going to tell you, you're not the only one that relies a lot on the communication that your technology partners can provide within each other. You can't necessarily, force two companies that are integral to your business's success to get along, to like each other, to communicate. But, I think this is a good example is, our relationship with iHeartJane and how well our communication is back and forth as two organizations that do very different things, but they sort of meet in the middle on how we end up ultimately helping the client. How important is it for you to have technology partners that communicate well, that are always constantly looking out for what's best for you and can communicate with each other without maybe necessarily having to bring you in and just say, hey, iHeartJane says, hey, Range, we really think this would help the customer if you did X, and we perform X that day, and the change is made without you even fully knowing. But how important is that for those things to be happening behind the scenes so that you can focus on the things that you can focus on?
Oh, it's a huge, huge benefit. When I found out the merging of iHeartJane and Range Marketing, I thought it was just a huge plus, and it definitely gave me that confidence to continue going forward with both companies, because like you said, iHeartJane really breaks down all of the products, gives beautiful imagery, gives that information to the customers so that people are able to get fully educated before they walk into the store. But then Range Marketing displays it in such a beautiful way and is able to get that to the customers, and then we're able to get analytics on exactly how that's reached the customers. But I think it's just a great merger. It's a great marriage of helping the business owner, and at the end of the day, so it takes more off my plate, and then I can really focus on what really matters, which is ordering and helping the customers and educating my budtenders on how to effectively get to our customers. But yeah, it definitely takes a huge part off of my shoulders, and I think it's a great benefit to have hopefully more platforms working together with range marketing, because I just think it's a great way to do business. So
no, absolutely. Kelani, thank you so much for hopping on with us for this range marketing fireside chat. This was one of my favorite ones. It was really a pleasure getting to kind of understand you and your business a little bit more, what's important to you. And we really look forward to having a nice, long, mutually beneficial relationship into the future. And I'm really looking forward to watching you guys blossom in your markets.
Thank you so much for having me, Nate.
No, it's my absolute pleasure.